Now, y'all know me. I come in, I'm confident. Thank you. We're going to see.
Real quick, I feel like the shit's gonna echo. All right, now we good. All right, we got another episode of the fantasy. Mac, Sean, Twan in here. Week 2. You know what I'm saying? We went over the first or the second week's slate of games last night on our Tuesday episode. So if you didn't check that out, you know what I'm saying, you can hear that on the podcast. Me and Sean went through all the games, kind of went through what we like and what we don't like. When you know what I'm saying, gave a little bit of we had a little bit of pick plays in there, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of going through the spreads and everything like that, some of the leans that we liked, and then some of the players that we like. But you can check that out on our podcast on anywhere you listen to podcasts. If you're here, definitely subscribe to the channel. But today we're getting into our stardoms and situms for week 2. Let's look at how you guys did for week 1. I thought y'all did pretty solid.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
There was definitely more correct calls than wrong calls. So that's always dope. Let me see if I could find that drink. All right, there we go with yeah, so as you can see, you know what I'm saying, Sean.
I failed on the quarterbacks.
Yeah, the quarterbacks was not good. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers the shit the bed, bro. There's really no way you could see that coming.
Trey Lance played in
a monsoon.
Yeah, it was not good out there for Trey Lance last week.
Yeah,
nope, that was not a passing type game.
Nah,
last week at all.
Not at all. And then on the Situm side, Twan did good with the quarterbacks. The running backs was kind of, but also 10 points for a running back. You want more, right? You want more. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of the right. threshold we used. So if we're being critical and being hard on ourselves, you know what I'm saying? The running backs could have been a little better, but everything else pretty solid as far as Irv Smith. This should be zeros here. Tyler Higbee again. That's kind of like borderline of like a good day for a tight end,
right?
Versus a bad day. Pat Freiermuth a pretty decent day, and then the the defense is Pittsburgh Steelers. They just they played lights out.
They did. They was like Twan.
Yeah, they played lights out against Cincinnati and them.
Cincy.
Yeah, so that was last week, but we're looking forward to this week. So let's go ahead and get into our what are we doing? Stardoms.
Start off with
joints up. All right, so first up, we got Twan. Let's see if you can see him.
Let's get it.
See what these stardoms got in store for us today.
Yeah.
I like him, man. I like him. We'll start with Carson. Personal favorite of mine because he's my Commanders quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Carson, man, last week, for those who watched the game in the local area, in the local DMV, it didn't look bad. It looked a lot different than it did usually. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. Put my drink down. Chill out. So, it looked a lot different than it did usually. This week, I see similar results to last week. If I don't know if he's going to throw for 4 TDs this week, but he threw for 4 touchdowns, 2 picks last week. He had like 300 yards plus. So it was a pretty solid game for Carson. But the Lions gave up 243 passing yards to Jalen Hurts in week 1. They got Jaylen Brown, but I think overall, I like Washington's pass attack a lot better. They got Jeff Okudah and Amari Oruwariye out there who are arguably the worst cornerback duo in the league. So, I see a big game for Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel,
Jahan Dotson should be a solid flex play in deeper leagues. I even like Logan Thomas in this game, but we're gonna get more into that as we get into the stardoms. But I definitely see a high scoring game between Washington and the Detroit Lions this week, only because last week they put up like 33 on the Eagles defense, who I think is pretty formidable all around. So I definitely like Carson this week. If you can grab Carson off the waiver still, if not, you should try to get him in your league. If you need a fill-in, if you're feeling discouraged behind the performances of like Aaron Rodgers, even my own Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, guys that let you down last week, if you're just not believing in it, if you need somebody to fill in, I think Carson Wentz is going to be a good fill-in this week for sure. The next guy on my list is Matthew Stafford. I like Matthew Stafford this week. I don't think you should give up on Matthew Stafford due to, his offensive coordinator, Sean McVay. He's going to right the ship. We tried to tell y'all last week, the Bills defense is a tough out. It's a real tough out. Any week they had the best pass defense, so it's going to get a lot easier for Matthew Stafford moving forward. Atlanta just gave up 269 yards, 2 touchdowns to Jameis Winston. They got Michael Thomas, they got Jarvis Landry out there, but I like Cooper Kupp. I like Allen Robinson. I like the way they scheme it up. I think the tight end's a lot better. Tyler Higbee. I think the running game is going to open some things up this week. I think you're going to see some Darrell Henderson, some Cam Akers sprinkled in there, but we're going to get into that too. So I definitely think that Matthew Stafford bounces back this week. The next quarterback I got on my list is Russell Wilson. We didn't know how it was going to look last week against Seattle. That homecoming there. It was a lot of emotions running through that game. A lot of people are upset about how it ended. They should have went for it on 4th and 5, but it didn't. I disagree. I don't think that they should have kicked right there. I think they should have got more yards, then kicked the field goal. But
yeah, it looked like that's what they were about to do, and then they decided to kick it.
I think that they should definitely went for that. You sign Russell Wilson to do stuff like that. So
get you a little bit of yards. Get that first down, and then you
come on, man. But at the end of the day, he still threw for 340 yards, 1 touchdown and no picks. Yeah. So I like him this week. Matt Ryan threw for Matt Ryan threw for 352 and a touchdown last week. I like Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton this week. I feel like you could definitely start Russell Wilson with confidence this week. I think after this game, Russell Wilson might be like, Twan, don't put me on this list anymore.
Because he got to be a starter?
Yeah, because he has to be a starter.
I hear that.
They paid him to do that. The last quarterback I got on my list is Derek Carr. Last week, Derek Carr threw 4 picks. I think that's the most picks he threw in the game in his career. So a lot of people are like, yo, I don't know about Derek Carr, even if he got Devontae or not. But, it was tough. But he actually threw 3 picks last week. I apologize. But he threw for 295 and 2 touchdowns. He finished with 13 fantasy points. The Cardinals just gave up 5 TDs to Pat Mahomes. Now, Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes, opposite ends of the spectrum. But at the same time, the Raiders are a pass-heavy team, pass-first team.
Opposite ends of the spectrum? Like, you don't think Derek Carr is
what?
I'm not saying he is Pat Mahomes. I'm saying you
Close?
don't think he's one of the you don't think he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league?
I think that if I mention Pat Mahomes and Derek Carr in the same sentence, someone's going to just walk away from me.
Oh, yeah. You can't mention those two guys.
I feel like
Mahomes has been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think.
Listen. If we're talking,
Derek Carr hasn't won a playoff game.
Listen. We're not talking about playoff games. Fantasy don't even last into the playoff time, so we're not even talking about that. We're talking about from stats, yardage,
cool. So
shit like that.
It is. Derek Carr has never finished as a top 10 fantasy quarterback. So,
all right,
all right,
you got it, man. I don't think you understand the argument I'm trying to make.
Okay, so from a fantasy perspective,
Derek Carr can put up points. That's what I'm saying. So, like,
he's never finished as a top 10
fantasy. If Pat Mahomes was able to put up points, no, I'm not saying Derek Carr is going to go out there and drop 35 like Pat Mahomes did. Yeah. I'm just saying that Derek Carr is good for like 28, 29.
Nah, because it's going to be more. Points? There's going to be no. Because
28, 20. He could do something like
there's going to be more picks thrown than Pat Mahomes. So he'll finish with like 3 TDs and no picks.
Yeah, where Pat Mahomes finished with 5. Okay, yeah, like not everybody going to throw 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? But Derek Carr can throw 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? Carson Wentz threw 4 touchdowns last week. Derek Carr
is on this list because the team that he's going up against is weak in the pass D.
Yeah.
I feel like the Cardinals, I don't know, they got a lot of work to do. Isaiah Simmons didn't look like the guy that they thought he was going to be last week. I saw I saw him get tore up by Travis Kelce. Then this week he gets Darren Waller. So I mean, it just gets tougher and tougher for him. So I mean, I don't know. And then they got Devontae out there.
I was finna say, what did you think about that connection over
Devontae
this last weekend?
I liked it, man. He got 17 targets. He had 10 catches. And
17 targets?
Yeah,
17 targets.
I feel like that's not sustainable though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sustainable, but at the same time, if you watched the show last week, I said it's going to be a shit show because J.C. Jackson is not out there. And it's going to be Devontae Adams.
Yeah, you did.
And I mean, he had like 100+ yards and a touchdown. So I mean, he validated what was said. But at the end of the day, I think Derek Carr has a much better outing. The Chargers are a top 8. They're definitely a top 8 pass defense in the league. So last week could be, it's a division game, rivalry game. They know a lot about Derek Carr. I feel like he's going to right the ship this week against Arizona. I think he has a solid game. He's one of the better quarterbacks this week. Going into the running backs, I got A.J. Dillon. I like A.J. Dillon, man. I didn't believe the preseason hype surrounding the touches that would be split between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. I didn't. But A.J. Dillon actually led the team not only carries, but also targets, receptions, and total yards as a whole. A.J. Dillon looked like RB1 / wide receiver 1 last week for the Packers. I mean, it did. I mean, even though they're getting blown out, it's really encouraging to see him to see him get the opportunities that he got. He also scored a touchdown, and I expect him to get in the end zone this week against Chicago. So, I mean, honestly, this week he's like an RB2 flex play for me in leagues. I feel like they both can coexist. It's kind of like that Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb type deal. I like A.J. Dillon this week versus Chicago. The weather's going to be a lot better than it was last week than it was in Chicago. But even though they're playing at home, I like A.J. Dillon at home. He's definitely involved in this offense because I think Aaron Rodgers is losing trust in the wideouts after the first day of the game last week. If you guys saw that, it was very, very discouraging.
That was bad.
The next guy I got on my list is Jeff Wilson. I mean, Jeff Wilson is going to be the lead back in the 49ers offense. So, unless they decide to use Debo as an RB1 on Sunday against the Seahawks, being the lead back in the Kyle Shanahan-led offense, it really has its perks. I mean, it really does. He's going to scheme ways to create running lanes and openings for Wilson on Sunday. Last week, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they combined for 101 yards against Seahawks last week. I mean, they would have scored twice if they didn't fumble at the one twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks totally different. That makes the whole game look totally different. I know they're telling Jeff Wilson, they're coming for the ball this week. They're coming for the ball last week. I know he's looking at the film, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, they're both serviceable back. So he's definitely telling them to hold on to the ball. I like Jeff Wilson this week. I want to definitely tell y'all this too. In 15 career games with 12 plus touches, Jeff Wilson averages 14.5 fantasy points per game. You definitely want that for the fill-in at running back. I think that you can fill him in as a flex play. But I mean, if you got like high-end options, I definitely wouldn't go that far. But I like Jeff Wilson Jr.'s outlook this week against Seattle. My next guy on my list, I got Antonio Gibson. So I knew Antonio Gibson was going to be productive last week, but 130 total yards productive is I didn't expect that. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think no one expected that.
Yeah, I don't think nobody
trending
did,
way down when the season started,
I mean, he was trending down because Brian Robinson was there. He was alive and well. I mean, he's alive, but at the same time, he's rehabbing. He's rehabbing.
Yeah,
my man will be back strong. Hopefully, he comes back strong. But my co-host has him on his fantasy team. I encourage you to definitely leave him in the lineup. The Eagles running backs got into the end zone 3 times last week. Mm-hmm. And with Gibson being the clear number 1 in the backfield until Brian Robinson comes back, I think he has a solid game on Sunday in Detroit. I really do. I would definitely say start Gibson with confidence. The Lions were 31st against running backs last year in fantasy, so no issues there. If you can put him in at RB2, go ahead. If you can put him in at your flex, you're in better shape because he's definitely going to perform this week. I think a big game's coming from Antonio Gibson this week. I think big games are ahead for Antonio Gibson until Brian Robinson comes back. You good? You got anything to say? You good so far?
I mean, yeah, I'm good so far.
Okay.
I like the Jeff Wilson take. Jeff Wilson, like you said, he's been productive when he gets the carries and he gets the opportunities playing in that Kyle Shanahan offense. So I like what I see so far. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see what else you got still.
All right, man.
Let's see where it
I'm
goes.
waiting. I'm waiting.
Cool. Yeah, he's definitely waiting for the fumble.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I like Miles Sanders, man. Another player. I had to see it to believe it. And those early, I'm calling my shot, man. I think that this is the Miles Sanders breakout season. I think that this is the Miles Sanders breakout season. I really do. I could swing and miss with this pick, but and behind him, I mean, because he had 13 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown week 1. I mean, week 1 is early. Like I'm not gonna take nothing away from I'm not gonna take much away from week 1 because it's early. Aaron Rodgers had a terrible game. Matthew Stafford had a terrible game. Tom Brady had a terrible game. These are high-end quarterbacks. These are top 8 quarterbacks from last year. I mean, not the same position, but at the same time, I think that Miles Sanders. I think they made it a point to get him into the zone because he didn't score all last season. His O-line is solid, and I think they'll want Hurts to run less and Sanders to run more. His matchup with Minnesota is not too bad, so I roll with Sanders in my RB2 flex spot, and I would definitely see what happens. I would definitely give him another shot. I think that he's the guy over there.
Yeah, I tried to tell y'all last week Sanders was going to get in the zone.
Yeah,
because
man.
They had to force
he
him
did.
to get in the zone. He had 0 touchdowns last year.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
You got to get the guy in
Yeah,
the
you
end
got
zone.
to
Like,
give
come
him
on,
his own, man.
Yeah.
I'm not too concerned with Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, they are there.
They're there.
I want you to know that they are there, but Miles Sanders is definitely the better back, talented, but the better talented back in that offense. Going on to the wide receivers, I like Juju. I like Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju is the top wide receiver. He's not the top pass catcher for clarity in this offense. That belongs to Travis Kelce. But in an offense led by Patrick Mahomes, he's definitely the top wide receiver, and that definitely also has his perks. I believe Juju will be an every week starter. I really do. Only because he's the top wideout in this offense.
Every week?
Every single
But,
week, man. If you got Patrick Mahomes on the other end of those passes being thrown to you, and you're the guy, like who McCole Hardman? I
Yeah,
don't
I
even
was about to say all of them was getting work, bro.
I
Like who
think,
scored?
I think Pat
Fortman
Mahomes
or-
going to spread the ball. I think any given week it can be any one of those guys.
man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I like Juju's. He's a good flex.
I mean,
not
it
like
looked that way last week with Juju. It really did. He had 6 catches on 8 targets. He would have had a solid game if not for a lost fumble. That I'm sure he's going to get cleaned up. They're going to clean that up. So I mean, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a tough out against the Chargers on tomorrow night if JC Jackson does play. I'm sure that if there's anybody who's going to follow, it's probably going to be Juju because they'll have Derwin James lined up in front of Travis Kelce. But JC Jackson, if JC Jackson plays, it'll be a tough out for Juju. But if he doesn't, then I mean, I like him in the game tomorrow night. I think that the game tomorrow night could be possibly high scoring, even though the Chiefs shut down the Cardinals. If the Cardinals actually put up 21 points, so I mean, it could be a high scoring game at the end of the day. But I like Juju. I think they're gonna have to pass because I'm not too sold on Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the running game yet in Kansas City. I got to see another week of that.
I like Juju. This week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm waiting on the fumble, bro. I'm waiting on it from my co-host, man. Y'all know how we do it. All right, so hey, my next guy is Curtis Samuel, and I got a question for everybody who's watching this. Is Curtis Samuel back? Is he back, man? I mean,
yeah. He looks damn good.
Like you said, he's alive and well.
So,
man.
He looks damn good.
So I will say, I personally, as a McLaurin owner, I don't need him back for personal reasons. But I mean, I also, as a Washington Commanders fan, do.
You like
So,
what you
like,
saw?
You know,
Did you like what you saw?
I loved.
That's what we thought we were
what
going
I
to get
saw.
out of Curtis.
Yeah,
when he
that's
got here.
That's what we should have got all last year, but he was
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
So like, I mean,
And the year before, right? We got him the year before.
no, we got him last year.
We got him last year.
Yeah. But the 11 targets are screaming, deal with it, Twan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
11
He had
targets.
11 targets. I didn't even know that.
like, hey, Twan, I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here.
Nigga, I was like, he's getting work.
11.
Jahan Dotson's getting work. Like,
Where's Terry? Until the
Yeah.
fourth. Until my man, my
Yeah.
co-host next to me texted me and said, Terry, I turned the game on. Like,
yeah.
my man scored a TD, a long jump. Oh my God, thank
Yeah.
you. Like, you know, but I mean, at the same time, yeah, hey, John,
I said Juju.
yeah,
by the
bro,
ball.
he about the ball. I like him, but back to Curtis, man. I think
Pray for
Curtis
it, boy.
Curtis is lined up in the slot, and I don't see I didn't see a Jaguar defender that could come close to stopping him. And they also gave him some end arounds last week as well. I see big game potential against Detroit this week, and he's definitely a flex play given the matchup. I mean, honestly, you really don't know, but he's matched up against Mike Hughes, who is not a very good slot corner. He's not. So I mean,
Not
you
at
can
all.
look it up. You can look it
He
up.
plays
Purple-
for Detroit.
Yeah, he's not a very good slot corner. Mike Hughes. I think another big week is coming for Curtis. I hope it's the Terry show. But if Curtis balls, you heard it here, man.
I think they all ball this week.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think that's gonna be a high scoring game.
I mean,
Until-
if you look at what Philly did to Detroit, it's enough for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
enough for
it really is.
everybody.
And
Except
I mean,
except what's his name,
on
Devontae.
the slate, I don't know what the slate is for this game, but I would definitely pick the over.
With the spread, the spread is what was it?
It's probably
this is,
like
this is Lions
48,
Commanders?
50. Yeah, it's probably 48.
Commanders?
It probably is, bro.
We looked at it yesterday. It was like 40. It was in the mid 40s.
Yeah,
I think the spread was like
45, 48,
Washington
45,
was
47,
1.5
something like
point underdogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're projected to lose this game, but I think we're going to win.
Yeah,
I mean,
Fucking crazy.
overall.
yeah,
But I would definitely take the value on the underdog there.
yeah. Me too.
Oh, definitely on the spread. So,
I just don't want Washington to break my heart.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be
They're good at
another
doing
kind
that,
of
man.
blown.
They're
Don't
doing
bet
that.
with your heart.
Yeah,
So,
but I'm saying like, I would be another kind of blown if they lost and they were expected to.
Yeah,
lose.
for
You know what I'm saying? So
I got you. I like Jerry Judy. The next guy on my list is Jerry Judy. I mean, Judy and Sutton, they both had 7 catches, but it was Judy who looked better than me while watching the game. I mean, I watched the entire game on Monday night due to fantasy purposes. But
who'd you have going?
I was playing against the kicker who would, if he would have made that last kick, I would have lost.
Yeah, that'd have been like 6 points.
Yeah, I would have lost. It was a shit show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I won by like 6.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I mean, we all knew that Judy was a high level route runner. But he showed lows on the way to
Yeah,
that
he showed
67-yard TD. Like, I mean, he felt like he was gone.
yeah.
I ran a defender.
He
He was
looked fast.
out. Yeah, I mean, he had a couple of drops, but that's always been his Achilles heel. I mean, but if he gets it cleaned up, I see him as a wide receiver too the rest of the way. Also, with Russell throwing him the ball, I like it. I really do like with Russ throwing him the ball. So, I mean, and I think he finishes higher than Cortland Sutton this year. I mean, Cortland Sutton is solid. I just think that like Judy looked more fluid out there. It just looked better when he caught the ball. I mean, if you really watch the game, this is one of the things where I would never do. I would never go off the eye test. I usually go off of stats, but the eye test in this game, it looked like Jerry Judy was the guy. When he caught that 67-yard touchdown, I was like, all right, this is the Judy that we wanted coming out of Alabama. So I definitely like Jerry Judy. I love his outlook against Houston this week. He'll be lined up against Desmond King, who gave up 5 catches for 91 yards in the slot last week against Minnesota. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, they had Justin Jefferson lined up in the slot sometimes too, but I like Jerry Judy, and he majority lines up in the slot. I see him eating Desmond King. You can say what you want about Jerry Judy's route runner, but yeah, he's a great route runner. The last guy I got on my list, I might catch some heat for it. Had him on the sit him last week. I got my man A-Rob. A-Rob, this is the week, man. You got to do it for me, bro. Only reason why you got to do it for me because I had you on the sit him. I had drafted you last year. A lot of they out there, man. I'm hearing the wash calls, bro.
Mhm.
Like we all hearing the wash calls, bro. I'm seeing everything I pull up is saying that my man may be washed. So I don't think my man is washed. I just think that last week was a bad week. Like I mean, we had him on the sit-ems, like
It
we
was a
said.
bad week for the Rams.
You know, like
Yeah.
it was a terrible week
Bad
for the
matchup.
Rams.
It was
It was
the
like
best
it was like a
defense in the
tune-up game.
league.
You know,
Yeah.
it was a Super Bowl hangover. They was on a high. You know, they got their rings that night. You know, Stephon and Josh, they was not having it. So yeah,
No,
Vaughn,
nigga,
yeah,
not
Vaughn,
tonight. Not tonight.
Vaughn, all of them was not having it, bro. Gabe Davis, all of they showed up. They came. They traveled out west and they was ready to play. But I like Allen Robinson this week. I'll definitely get some chirps about this. So, I mean, he gets Atlanta. Jarvis Landry carved up Atlanta last week, and at this point in their careers, I would say Allen Robinson is right there with Landry. I would say he's right there with Jarvis Landry, and at this point in their careers, they're like comparable players. I like Allen Robinson this week. He lines up outside. He lines up in the slot. I mean, Kupp will get his. Don't get me wrong. Kupp is the alpha. Kupp is the alpha, arguably, of the league. But you know, I like him to be more involved. McVay said they got to get Allen Robinson more involved, so I definitely think that they will. I mean, moving forward, so I think that he's a wide receiver flex play for me this week. I definitely like I like Allen Robinson this week. Moving on to the tight ends, Albert. I'm not going to chop your name up, bro. I'm gonna call you okay. I'm gonna call you Albert. You okay?
Okay.
So look, I'm not going to do you like that, Albert. If you out there watching, so look, I'm not even going to do it. Hey, look, but hey, I didn't know who this guy was last week. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't know who he was. I think that Russell Wilson threw to 4 different tight ends in this game, but towards the end of the game, this young man, he was involved. He almost scored a touchdown last week. I definitely like him against Houston. I like him against. I like all the pass catches for Denver against Houston this week. I think that Albert actually gets into the end zone. Albert, if it's okay with you, I need you to get into the zone this week for sure.
It's okay.
All right, cool, man. We Gucci
If
there.
it's okay with you.
Let me see. My man Dalton Schultz is next on the list. Dalton Schultz had 9 targets last week. So I mean, as at the tight end position, you want opportunity. He had 7 catches for 9 targets, 62 yards. That's a solid outing from a tight end for sure. He had 9.7 fantasy points in half PPR. I'm sure he had like 12 in full PPR. So I would definitely roll with Dalton Schultz. I think that Cooper Rush. It's not Dak Prescott for you Dallas fans. And I'm kind of happy to say that. I can't like do too much right now, but at the same time,
Fuck 'em.
I like
Straight up.
Hey, but look. I mean, but hey, look, Cooper Rush will need a safety valve out there. They're playing Cincinnati. I think a lot of throws are going to be quick. I think that Cincinnati's going to be coming after Cooper Rush. They're going to throw him a lot of different looks, and it's going to be Dalton Schultz on the beneficiary of all that underneath. So I would definitely take Dalton Schultz right there if I needed a tight end. I think he finishes as a top. I think he has a top 10 tight end finish this week. The next on my list, I like Pat Freiermuth. Freiermuth will finish as a top 10 tight end this year. I'm not even about to talk about this really. I'm not gonna talk about his end of season ranking. Freiermuth is here. I had Freiermuth last.
He's here to
last
stay,
year.
man.
Yeah,
Thought it was fluke, but
Freiermuth
he's
is
a good player.
involved. He is definitely involved.
Good player.
I definitely like Freiermuth, man. Freiermuth had 10 targets last week, 75 yards. Like, come on, man. Like, Freiermuth is involved in the Steelers offense. I like him against New England this week. He's one of the more reliable pass catchers. I mean, even though it took him like overtime to get what he got, he got it. And then the Bengals defense is not really that bad. I had him on a sit-ems last week actually, because I thought that Jesse Bates was going to be over top of that, locking it up. Jesse Bates. I mean, he looked solid, but he wasn't locking it up. So I like Freiermuth this week. I like his prospects moving forward. The last one I got on this list is Logan Thomas. Look, another player. He's on the waiver wires right now. I don't know if anybody picked up Logan Thomas, but Logan Thomas had six targets last week, 3 catches, 45 yards. First game back. I mean, I'm not gonna say first game back because he was hurt. I mean, he was hurt throughout the entire camp. Was he hurt towards the end of the year last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like Logan Thomas as a solid play. I like, as you can see, I got almost every position player in that Detroit game for Washington Commanders on the list. I got Gibson as a running back. I got Curtis Samuel as a wideout. I got Logan Thomas at the tight end, and I also got Carson at the quarterback. So I think that the Washington offense has a big week this week. I think that this game is going to be one of the more high-scoring games. I think Logan Thomas is going to be involved. 6 targets will most certainly validate that Carson Wentz is going to throw to the tight end. I mean, you can ask Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert what he did for them. So at the same time, I think Logan Thomas had the potential to score this week. I really do. If not, I definitely think he's going to be serviceable in your league. So if he's out there, if you need a tight end and you're hurting, pick him up. I would say stash him. If one of these wideouts go down for Washington, God forbid, then I think Logan Thomas is going to be the next pass catcher that steps up. So I like Logan Thomas. This week for sure. Next, we got Cleveland's defense. We're going to go defense special team. I like Cleveland as number 1 against the Jets. Jets are the Jets. So Cleveland got after Carolina last week. Carolina's a much better offense all around than the Jets. I like Myles Garrett coming out there. I like Jadeveon Clowney coming out there. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Greedy Williams should be back this week, so hopefully he plays in this game to lock up whatever wideout is going to be out there for the New York Jets. Elijah Moore, Denzel Ward is still out there, so I think Cleveland wins comfortably. I don't know what the spread is on this game. Even though Cleveland runs the ball a lot, I would definitely take Cleveland straight up in this game. They would definitely be in one of my best this weekend for sure. Steelers versus New England. I think Steelers, they're coming off a huge win at Cincinnati, division game. I hope they don't have a hangover. I mean, they lost a lot in this game. A lot of players that this game banged up. Najee Harris is actually a little banged up. TJ Watt, they're gonna lose him for multiple weeks, so he's gonna miss some time. I think all around though, I think Minka Fitzpatrick, he played a hell of a game. He had a huge field goal block at the end of the game. If anybody's seen that, to force overtime. So I think the Steelers are playing with a chip on their shoulder. I think they get George Pickens involved in the offense. It's going to make it a little bit easier on the defense. I think they're going to try to control it, make it a little bit easier for Mitch Trubisky. Mac Jones in the offense for New England did not look good last week at all in Miami. So I like the Steelers this week for sure. They did it against a much better offense last week. Bills defense and special teams, this will probably be the last time you see them on this list. They're playing Tennessee. Another guy, Derrick Henry. I know a lot of people were like, oh, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor ran all over the Bills last year. If anybody remembers Jonathan Taylor, I think he had 5 touchdowns against him. He's a comparable player to Derrick Henry. So I don't see it this week, though. I think the Bills are here.
Yeah.
I think the Bills are like, yo, like
Super
last
Bowl
week.
bound.
They're not playing around.
Last year, I think that
get me to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
they're talking about.
Well, did they play? No, they didn't play in the AFC Championship game. That quarterfinal game. I think that the Bills, that they got the chip on their shoulder. I think
That was
Josh Allen.
arguably the best playoff game of the
Yeah.
the decade, even.
Yeah, probably ever.
That was a wild game. I still
ever.
remember
That's
it.
probably one of the better
I still
playoff
think
games we've
about
ever
it.
seen. Yeah, I'm happy I was here to witness it. But at the same time, I like the Bills versus Tennessee. Their defense, they should definitely lock that up. They got a lot of young guys catching passes out there for Tennessee. They got a young. I will say young QB. I thought Willis was starting, but it's Tanneman. So Tanneman's out there. I feel like the only thing they got to worry about is Derrick Henry. They got the line. They got the linebackers. They got the defensive backs to lock it up. So I'm not gonna say this game is gonna be close. They at home. This is probably the largest spread on the slate. I think we just seen it at 10.5. So you need a lot of points from the Bills, but at the same time, I think the Bills get it done versus Tennessee at home. Broncos defense special teams versus Houston. I like the Broncos this week. I think Houston, I feel like Houston, they played a hell of a game last week against the Colts. I like the Broncos a lot better. I like Bradley Chubb to get after the quarterback this week. I like Patrick Surtain to limit Brandon Cooks, which I hate to say because I have Brandon Cooks on my fantasy team personally, but I like Patrick Surtain the second. He's a solid defender. He held DK Metcalf to about 6.5 PPR, 7.
I'm happy you're not 5.1, but he fumbled.
Yeah. So but
Yeah.
5.
Patrick Surtain is that guy.
Patrick Surtain, we talked about this before the show. Me and my co-host Sean here, we talked about it for the show. We said Patrick Surtain, he's probably the next. He's the next corner. So you heard it here too. I like Patrick Surtain in that defense. Bradley Chubb. I like them as a whole. I think that they're gonna be up. I think that they're gonna be up in this game. I think they'll probably be up by like 10 in this game to make it even harder. Make Houston pass. Davis Mills, you had a good game, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how you look against that Broncos defense in Mile High this weekend. I would definitely say start the Broncos defense. I think they get some sacks and some turnovers in this game. That's what I got for the starters, man. Y'all please. Y'all got any questions? Y'all want to hold me accountable? Y'all want to call me out on anything? Let me know. Let the squad know we're here to take constructive criticism. We need it to get better. We need y'all opinion. So definitely give us a shout out and let us know what we hit on, what we missed on.
Man,
100%.
first time we really don't have no real rebuttals for your stardoms.
That's
But
what happens, man.
Step at the tight end position.
I had to
We'll
do
get
some
to that
research,
though
man.
when we
Yeah.
get to send them.
We
get
will.
to
We
that.
will.
But yeah, looked all right. You had to do your research shit, But we're gonna see how it is on Sunday. I'm still gonna talk my shit about your starters
100%.
right now. But
100%, that's what we
it
do.
looks good to me. If I had those guys, I'll be starting.
Yeah.
Just straight up. I hear that.
Appreciate you, man.
All right, let's take a quick little commercial break. We're gonna come back and get into the sit-ems for this week that Sean had. So we'll be right back.
Make sure my vocals right. Make sure the beat right. Welcome to the 5th show.
Time to cuff.
Powered by It's Nation TV.
That's why you try to get in line.
Play, execute, have fun, dub.
I can do a lot more than what I think I can.
All right, we back. We got Sean P with his sit-ems.
Get these sittings underway.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Ah.
All right.
First on the list, we got famous Jameis, the crab leg eating man. I just feel like this game against Tampa is going to be a low scoring fantasy day for all parties involved, except for Michael Thomas. But we're not going to explain.
Who's going to get him the ball? He's going to throw the ball to himself.
I mean, turnovers and fumbles. I see that happening in this game, like for Jameis. You know what I mean? Everyone knows he's a 30 for 30 guy. He needs his own 30 for 30. So last week he had 269 yards and 2 touchdowns, which all came in like the second half of the game. First half, the Saints struggled a lot in the first half. Couldn't get much going, and I feel like it's going to be pretty much the same in this game. But I just don't feel like in the second half, Jameis is going to be able to find that. I feel like the Buccaneers are going to send a lot of blitzes his way, and I see a lot of sacks. I see turnovers in this game for the Buccaneers defense. So I'm sitting Jameis Winston this week. Marcus Mariota is another guy I'm going to sit at Los Angeles this week against the Rams. I feel like the Rams are going to come out firing this week. Last week was a tough week for the Rams. They came out and got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills at home after the ring celebration and all that. So I feel like the Rams are going to come out, get into the quarterback, get into Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota last week had 215. He had no touchdowns thrown, but he had 12 rushes for 72 yards and a touchdown. That's the only thing about Mariota. He's a guy that can run the football. He can elude the rush and get downfield and make things happen with his legs. So that's why I didn't really want to put him on the similar list, but I feel like the Rams are going to come out and he's not going to have anything to do. He's not going to have anyone to throw the ball to. Who's over there catching balls? Robert Woods, Treylon Burks. I just don't see it right now for this week for the Marcus Mariota.
Drake London? That's Atlanta.
Oh, damn.
He's saying Tennessee receiver.
Tennessee. God damn, what the fuck? I think he plays in Tennessee. But yeah, I don't see it from Drake London.
Not them either.
It's okay. We're getting it together, man.
And all those guys. I just don't see it, though. I don't see it for those guys either. That's why Marcus Mariota is sitting this week. I feel like the Rams are going to come out like playing like dogs, chasing meat. This week.
For sure.
So I just don't see it. Aaron Donald's going to be out there wreaking havoc in the middle. Jalen Ramsey is going to be back this week. I just don't see it for the
They're definitely going to be getting after
for the Falcons
Mariota
this week. Next on the list is Ryan Tannehill going against Buffalo, who was the number 1 against quarterbacks last year. This year, I don't want to say, they're third against quarterbacks this year. We don't have to say that. It's only week 1.
Yeah.
But Ryan Tannehill last week had 266 and 2 touchdowns versus the Giants. Somebody out there might be like, oh, Ryan Tannehill's playing solid this year. No, he's going against Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo, after this season, they will be the number 1 against quarterbacks again. I don't like it for Ryan Tannehill this week. The only player I will start from Tennessee this week is Derrick Henry. No one else. Robert Woods, Treylon Burks. We just talked about them when I was talking about Mariota, but we're going to move on. I don't like Ryan Tannehill this week against Buffalo. Buffalo has, I think, the best defense in the league. So you sit Ryan Tannehill this week. Downgrade Tom Brady. Tom Brady has struggled since he came to Tampa. He struggled against the Saints. Game 1 against the Saints, he had 239. Game 2, 209. Game 3, 375. And game 4, 214. So as you can see, 3 out of the 4 games has been a shit show for Tom Brady.
Shit show.
Against the Saints, he's averaged 16.8 fantasy points compared to 26 per game against other teams. So the Saints always bring it when they play Tom Brady. Like I said before, I feel like this game is going to be a low-scoring one. It's not going to be a lot of fantasy numbers put up in this game. I don't see it from either team. I think it's going to be a defensive fault game to the end.
I like it so far.
Coming at the running backs, got Cam Akers versus Atlanta.
Not my man. Cam.
Not my guy.
Not my man.
But last week, Cam Akers only had 3 carries. Darrell Henderson was out there a lot. He looked like he was the starting running back. when I seen him trot it on the field with the first team, I was surprised. Like, where's Cam Akers? He was nowhere to be found in this game. So Cam Akers is a wait and see guy right now. I don't know if he's in the doghouse. I don't know what he's doing at practice. I don't know if he fucked the coach's wife. I don't know what happened, but Cam Akers is not the guy you want to start right now. You have to wait and see what he's going to do this week and the weeks coming before you can start him in fantasy. Rashad Penny is another guy I don't like this week at San Francisco. San Francisco is 0-1. They lost against Chicago. Just like I said, for the Rams, I feel like San Francisco is going to come out firing on all cylinders this game. I feel like Seattle's going to have to go away from the run game sooner than they want to in this game because I feel like San Francisco is going to be putting up the points on the board. I don't like Rashad Penny. He had 12 for 60 against Denver, but also Kenneth Walker practiced fully this week. I feel like he's going to get some touches in this game. So I'll sit Rashad Penny this week. I like what he did last week. He looked explosive running the ball. He looked like he's back from that ACL injury, but I don't like him this week against San Francisco. I don't like it. Ezekiel Elliott versus Cincinnati. Last week against Tampa, he had 10 for 52. That's 5.2 a tote. But I just feel like with Dak out and since he's high-powered offense, I feel like this game is going to get out of hand early for Dallas. They're going to go away from the run. I feel like Tony Pollard. If you got Tony Pollard, you can flex him this week. I feel like this is the Tony Pollard type of game, not a Zeke game. I feel like Cincinnati's going to come out throwing the ball, scoring early. That gets, Dallas, they're not going to be able to run the football. They're going to have to throw the football. And Cooper Rush is not the guy that you want to be doing that with. I feel like, this game's going to get out of hand fast. Dallas is not going to know what to do with that Cincy offense this week. Downgrade, Alvin Kamara. Last week against Atlanta, a struggling Atlanta defense, he had 9 carries for 39 yards. He had 4 targets for 7 yards, and that's against Atlanta. And this week he's going against Tampa Bay, who I think was like the second best rush defense last year. So I don't like it from Alvin Kamara this week. I feel like he's going to struggle this week. Of course, a downgrade means you're starting him for sure, but just temper your expectations for Alvin Kamara this week going against Tampa. Anything to say about that, Tweet?
Ouch.
It's true.
Checks line up.
It's true. Tom and AK.
Week.
I mean, this game,
it's just a bad week.
Like
it's just a bad matchup. You're gonna come across these in fantasy, but I mean,
you don't like the mirror being held up right to your face.
The numbers don't lie, right? Like the numbers don't lie. I mean, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. I'm a numbers guy, so carry on.
Yeah.
But it's Alvin Kamara. You never
right.
know. All he needs is one play.
Right.
To make something shaking fantasy. So that's why you're going to start him.
Definitely
100%.
agree though, bro.
But a sit-em I got this week is DK Metcalf at San Francisco. Like I said about Rashad Penny, I just feel like San Francisco is going to come out firing all cylinders. Geno Smith and DK, they got to find that chemistry. Once Russ is gone, I got to see it from DK. He's like, I have him on my team, but I'm a bench him this week just to see what they're going to get going. I need to see Geno and DK's Metcalf chemistry get better throughout the season. And at San Francisco, it's not the time to risk that. Unless if you don't have anyone else to start, you start DK. But if you got someone else, I'm not starting DK. I'm sitting them this week at San Francisco. Like I said, on the road at San Francisco, I feel like they're going to come firing on all sides of the ball. I feel like it's going to be tough out there. Geno's going to be getting sacked here, sacked there. I just don't see it this week for DK or anybody for Seattle. I don't see it. I feel like it's going to be a shit show out there for Seattle this week. Can't trust Geno Smith. Like, quarterback play is not there right now. I'm kind of mad I dropped him, but Rashad Bateman.
This nigga was sold on Geno and DK like a week ago.
Rashad Bateman versus it's gonna get better throughout the season, but this is just not a good matchup. Right now, I'm playing that for the matchup.
Division game, it's not. Yeah, it's not good.
San Francisco's 0-1. Like, they're gonna come out.
They need a win
They need a win. And okay, coming in number 2, Rashad Bateman versus Miami. He's gonna see a lot of Xavier Rhodes this week. Last week he played pretty well. He had the game-winning. He had a touchdown in the fourth quarter. But I just feel like Miami. I like their defense. I like Xavier Rhodes, and with Lamar Jackson, you never know. It could be Dumervay. It could be. It's always going to be Mark Andrews. But when it comes to receivers, Lamar Jackson is not a guy to get the receivers out the way. And I feel like any given week it's going to be Dumervay. It's going to be Bateman. You got Dobbins coming back this week, so I feel like they're going to try to get him involved running the football this week. So I don't see it from Rashad Bateman versus Miami. He's going to see a lot of Xavier Rhodes. You heard it here first. Xavier Rhodes pick 6 this week. You heard it.
All right. I mean,
you heard it here first. Xavier Rhodes pick 6 on
Pick
Bateman.
6.
On Bateman. Watch.
that means that Lamar's throwing the pick 6.
What does that mean?
He's not throwing the pick 6.
You don't see
Not
Lamar
throwing the pick?
6?
Nah.
All right.
Lamar's
Once
too
he throws a
fast to
pick, I
allow
don't think
it.
he has control over if
Yeah.
it gets 6. So you don't see him throwing no picks.
I think I see Lamar walking down Xavier Howard.
Oh,
making
walking
the
him down,
tackle.
making the tackle. Facts. It's not like Drew Brees or some shit throwing that shit.
Lamar. How
Yeah.
many pick sixes have there been on Lamar?
Yeah, that's
It had to
a
be
great
screen.
point.
Like,
I didn't think about him actually like walking him
like
down,
running
like,
down and
Yeah,
making
yeah.
the attack.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, I can see a pick. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Dolphins secondary.
I
is
agree
solid.
with downgrading him. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tough out there.
100%. I mean, benching him. Yeah. Sitting him.
Coming in next
I
to
agree.
Elijah Moore. Joe Flacco, man. I don't like it. Elijah Moore, he's going to get the volume, but Joe Flacco is not the guy he used to be with the Baltimore Ravens. His throws are off target, and then he's going up against Denzel Ward, like Twan said, Greedy Williams. I just don't see it this week for Elijah. He's a great player, but sit him this week at Cleveland. They're playing on the road at Cleveland. Cleveland's defense is better than people really give them credit for. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams. They got guys out there. So I don't like Elijah Moore. And like I said, the quarterback play. I don't like Joe Flacco.
And to your point, you saw what they did to DJ Moore last week.
Shut that shit down.
Yeah, non-existent.
I mean,
But
Robbie Anderson
Anderson was
out there.
It looked like Robbie Anderson was like more favored
I mean,
by Baker. Like he was trying to. He was
Yeah,
feeding him
because-
more. He was feeding him more.
because Denzel Ward was on DJ.
Oh, he was
and
strapped.
now they get Greedy.
He was strapped.
Greedy's going to be out there, and Denzel Ward's going to be on that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other guy to be on out there. I mean, Garrett Wilson, you're a young guy. Let the third-year player deal with you. But to your point, I agree with that too. Okay, we'll agree. I definitely agree.
All right. Downgrade Mike Evans. As everyone knows, if you play fantasy football, you watch football.
You watch it. I know you're going with that.
Lattimore has his number. Has his number. I mean, the first game last year, he had 2 receptions, 48, and a touchdown. He scored a touchdown. Salvaged his day.
That
with
saved
that.
him. But it said
Saved him
that
with
saved him.
But the second game, he had 1 reception for 14 yards. So
Shadowed.
Lattimore is
Shadowed.
following that everywhere. And I don't know. Mike Evans just can't get the best of Lattimore.
He see that nigga
man.
in his
Like,
dreams and
Bro,
his
they
nightmares.
personally,
Everywhere.
do
See
not
him
like each
everywhere.
other. Like, they do not like each other.
If they see each other at the mall, it's on site.
I mean, if I was on Mike Evans, I wouldn't like Lattimore.
Yeah,
either.
I know,
Shut
facts.
me down
They
every time I play him.
personally do not like each
Facts.
other. Bro. Like 100%.
So we'll see. That's a downgrade. Of course, you're starting Mike Evans because he's any given time, any given day he can score a touchdown. He's playing with Tom Brady, a great quarterback. So you're starting him 100%. But temper your expectations going against Lattimore. Coming in, tight end, we got Dawson Knox. Last week, he had 1 reception for 5 yards on 2 targets. I think it's just too many mouths to feed in that offense. You got Gabe, who's coming in as the number 2, but he's trying to be 1B to Stephon
Literally.
Diggs out there.
Literally.
And then you got Diggs, of course. You got Diggs, the alpha over there. And then you got Singletary in the backfield. I just don't think it's enough targets to go around for Dawson Knox. I feel like Josh Allen wants to throw the ball downfield to his receivers. So I'm benching Dawson Knox this week against Tennessee. I have to see more from Dawson Knox before I can start him in my lineup.
I was about to say, is this a this week thing,
This
or is this like
is a going forward thing
this is
for
a going
Dawson
forward
Knox. I
thing?
just
yeah,
I
you
feel
just don't
Josh-
like it.
I don't like it. I feel like, he might have a day where he scores a touchdown, but I feel like Josh Allen wants to find his receivers
Yeah,
and get the ball downfield. That's the type of guy Josh Allen is.
I hear that.
He's not a throw to the tight end or the running backs. That's just not what he does.
Yeah,
Irv Smith, as you know, I was high on Irv Smith coming into the season. I was
Big
high on him last week.
big high.
Talking hella shit, and my man got the
Irv
goose
Smith
egg.
scores a touchdown this week. That's what he
Hey,
said.
I caught it. I
That's
tried.
what he said.
He got the goose egg last week.
Goose egg everything.
Changed his mind quick.
Did he even have any targets?
Not like-
0.
I don't know if he had a target, but
Look at a look.
You might as well not even
Irv-
play. We did the same thing out there. Like he could have been right next to me watching the game.
I feel like the only person that caught passes last week was AJ Brown from Philly, and I feel like it's going to continue. I don't like Irv.
Nah,
Irv
Irv Smith. You talking
Justin
Minnesota,
Jefferson.
bruh.
Justin
Justin
Jefferson.
Jefferson was the
Justin Jefferson was the
Yeah.
only person that caught passes last week. I
Big
don't know where
facts.
Thielen was. I think he had 3 for 36, but Irv Smith is a non-factor. It's a Dalvin Cook and
Justin Jefferson.
Jay Jettis is the only guys you want on this offense this year. You bench Irv Smith this week till you see something. You got to see something.
You bench Irv Smith for the duration.
for the
Nah, not for the
duration.
I mean, he might
Not-
even score in this game. I just had to put him on the bench.
I had him on the sit-em. You have him on the sit-em.
I mean,
2 weeks in a row, he made it.
he's trending down. He's trending downhill.
2 weeks in a row.
It's to the point where we're just like, you don't have to worry about this guy.
Automatic sit him.
If you start this guy, you desperate.
It's an automatic sit.
You're
Just how you
desperate.
said, like, this
You are
person's not going to be on
desperate.
this list no more.
Scoop Logan Thomas if you have Irv Smith.
Oh, for
weak.
sure, 100%. Logan's available in our league. I was
Yeah,
surprised.
I know. I just
Yeah.
He said, "Don't say that too loud."
I have Kels.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, Mark Andrews don't need to pick that
Facts.
up. But coming in at number 3, got my man Mike Gesicki
Mhm.
at Baltimore. Last week he had 1 target for 1 reception.
Oh.
I mean, the addition to Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle in his second year, Chase Edmonds coming out the backfield. There's no targets out there for that guy.
Same as Dawson. He's in the same boat as
Yeah,
Dawson.
same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Tua has new toys out there that he wants to play with, and Gesicki's not one of those guys. Gesicki's not one of those
Great way
guys.
to
Coach,
put that,
it's the coach like, hey, remember this one? I don't want that one. I don't want that one.
Yeah, new toys, man.
It's like Toy Story.
Andy,
You got a Buzz Lightyear out here in Tyreek Hill.
you don't got a friend in me.
That's
It's all him, man.
So yeah, man, I don't like Gesicki this year. I don't like him. You can bench him for the duration, like we just said.
Until you see
first.
something.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I don't even need to see. If he
I
has
don't even
if he has
need to
1
see-
week, I'm
it's
still
gonna
not
be
starting
luck.
him.
It's gonna be
he's
luck.
fluke.
Oh, Gesicki? Damn.
He's
I'm not saying
talented,
he had
man.
1 target last week.
He's
I
talented.
mean, it's week
though.
1. Just like
It is week 1.
we're not. Yo,
And
we
don't
gotta do it, bro. We
don't
can't
the
take
pass
that much
usually-
away. But
Yeah.
I mean, we can't take that much away. But you see it.
Sean, we were just talking about overreactions
But
after week
just
1.
saying, no, but it's Gesicki. It's not like he was actually ever that guy.
Bruh, he was
He's always
he
top
was
8.
good
He's
last
always
year.
top 10. He's always top 10.
He's a talented tight end,
He's a
bro.
talented
He's always
tight
top
end,
10.
But when you got
And last
Jalen
year he was
Waddle,
getting big
Tyreek
targets.
Hill,
I would definitely
and
put him
Chase Edmonds
over
out the backfield, it's
over
not-
Irv
nah.
Smith. I would definitely put him over Irv Smith. I would definitely say
I'm
you can
taking
start
Irv.
him probably after this week. I mean, Baltimore is no slouch, so
I'm taking Irv.
I mean, but I would definitely say bench
Cousins,
him.
Just gotta like Cousins better than Tua. That's the only reason I
Gotcha.
take Irv.
Yeah, Cousins is more of a quarterback that'll distribute than
Exactly.
that's fair. That's
Tua.
fair. 100%.
All right, coming in next, Albert. What you call?
Okay.
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 Albert, okay.
Okay.
Okay. I seen too many tight ends for Denver last week. It's a tight end. you know you got running back by
for
committee.
real.
Tight end
It's
flurry.
tight end by committee. My man
Yeah.
Beck was out there catching one-hander.
Nigga said I seen too many tight ends.
Catching one-
Another tight end.
no.
Oh,
He didn't even start the game.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
the first year, I'm like, where's he at? I'm
Yeah.
looking, 'cause I'm playing. I'm like, where's he at? Is he hurt? I didn't see him out there. I just think it's tight end by committee over there in Denver. And I think in any given week, it could be any of those guys. But he is the best pass catcher out of those guys. But I need to see it more. I need to see him involved more. I mean, he had 6 targets last week for your tight ends. That's good. But I need to see it more early on.
I bet I make it bad with you. He scores this week. make it better right here.
All right, $5 bet.
$5 bet. So we got $5 that the Chiefs win tomorrow, and also that a $5 bet that OK scores on Sunday.
We're at the hour 3 mark.
Wait,
Hour
wait,
3.
hold up. Y'all bet Chiefs
This is
versus
outside.
Chargers?
This is
He bet
outside.
me that the Chargers are gonna beat the Chiefs tomorrow.
Chargers gonna be the
So
Chiefs.
he's going to be, if he doesn't score, I'm up 1,000%. I'm 1,000% going
I
to
mean,
Sunday.
I'm
I
not.
should be up.
I'm not mad. I think Sean has a good bet for the Chargers. Did you see that? Did you see that Justin Herbert hasn't lost in Kansas City? Did you see that?
Did you see the game last year? Did you see my playoff game last year?
This nigga hasn't lost in Kansas City. He's got 7 touchdowns. He's
Kelsey
2-0, got 7
single-handedly-
touchdowns and 0 picks.
I feel like Justin Herbert and Eckler are about to go crazy.
I think Eckler's gonna go crazy. I told you I got him for 2 touchdowns.
I think they're gonna go crazy.
I'm willing to extend the offer.
He said make it 2 ways. I'm not betting with you.
I think Andy Reid knows that also, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
think Andy Reid's on a
he's ready
like
to stifle Justin.
I think Patrick Mahomes is on a fuck you tour. Like,
Yeah.
y'all think that y'all count me out without Tyreek.
I feel like
but-
Arizona's
but regardless,
Arizona's defense is
hard fought
ass.
game. Go ahead, Sean. What do you think?
I feel like they're gonna come get at Pat Mahomes this week. But
All right, let's move on.
moving on to the defensive, I got Dolphins at Baltimore. You sit them. I mean, last week the Dolphins had 19 fantasy points versus New England.
Yeah,
I like the Dolphins defense going forward. I just
Mhm.
don't like them. I don't like any defense going against Lamar Jackson. Like I'm bitching any defense going against Lamar Jackson. Guys like that, you just don't start those defenses going against quarterbacks like that
No.
because any given Sunday those guys can just do you dirty.
Yeah.
So I'm benching the Dolphins defense this week. Next up, Cowboys defense versus Cincy. Cincy's offense is high powered. I think they're the most high power offense in the league.
They're
Like,
pretty high powered.
who you like better than Cincy's offense?
I like the Bills.
I like the Bills. I like
All right. You can argue that.
I mean,
You
it's
can
like
argue
1A,
both.
1B.
You can argue the Bills.
There's
more,
so many
bro.
weapons on that
The
Cincy
Cincy
offense.
is
I like the
crazy.
Bills.
It's crazy to think that
but
Pittsburgh
their
scored.
offense on, but T. Higgins might not play in this game.
Yeah, if T. Higgins don't play, I still
I still go with benching Dallas
Yeah.
defense.
You know what's crazy?
they're overrated in a lot of aspects of the game. Michael Parsons is arguably defensive player of the year. Don't get me wrong; he's definitely in the running for
that spin move he hit last
Yeah.
week. I was like,
I am
To block
I
the
am not
fizzle?
a I am not
Nah,
a
to
Cowboys.
He hit a
Sad.
spin move.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah.
Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
But right now I got
Oh, I know what you're talking. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Parsons from
Yeah,
Dallas.
Dallas.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I got Minka Fitzpatrick and Michael Parsons as my defense players of the year
Yeah.
right now on pick. Like
Yeah.
just from what I've seen from week 1.
Yeah.
But overall as a defense, Dallas is overrated.
Yeah. I was finna say about the Steelers joint. It's crazy. You were talking about Cincy.
Mhm.
It's crazy that Pittsburgh put up 26 points, but also gave up like 400 plus yards to
Yeah.
Cincy. You know what I'm saying? So
Cincy's offense is that good.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like any defense that's going to get Cincy this year, you bench them unless you got Buffalo. You want to take a chance? Okay, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
But coming in number 3, Chargers at Kansas City. Pat Mahomes is all I have to say about this.
Who you bitching? Who you bitching?
I mean, I'm bitching their D. That don't mean they're not going to win. I feel like it's going to be a high scoring game, but I feel like the Chargers are going to come out on top. You don't like just like Lamar. You don't start any defense against Pat Mahomes.
So you think Patrick Mahomes is gonna strike their D?
Yeah,
Uh,
that means they're going to win.
yeah.
Why? I feel
got
like
their defense
Justin
in the
Herbert. I
I
feel like
wouldn't even-
Justin Herbert's going to go crazy too.
I honestly wouldn't put the Chargers defense up there only because they got 2 of the best pass rushers in the league.
I should have put the Chargers. I mean the KC defense up here, but
Nah, because they're not a formidable defense.
yeah, that's why they're not up there. Because I mean, who starts KC's defense?
Yeah, but the Raiders held their own against Justin Herbert, and I think that the Chiefs defense is better than the Raiders defense.
It's a different week, man.
True.
Austin Eckler about to go crazy. Justin Herbert gonna go crazy. Mike
Let's see
Williams.
the last defense.
Mike Williams, 60-yard touchdown. Mike Williams, you're gonna see it. You're gonna hear it. All right,
You want to bet on the 2?
Who's that other receiver? Who's that other receiver?
Joshua
over there?
Palmer.
Joshua Palmer.
don't sleep.
Because
Yeah.
Keenan is out.
Yeah, don't
Yeah, that's what I'm
sleep.
saying. I think I'm gonna get an anytime touchdown.
Yeah, yeah, don't sleep.
Anytime
Joshua
touchdown.
Palmer. Going
Chargers,
I got Austin Eckler's
Chargers
already-
win with no
No,
Keenan.
Austin Eckler's already my good.
No.
No, that's a good. Forgot about that. All right, you ready for the next one?
Commanders defense at Detroit. I feel like this is.
I want to hear the logic behind
This is a
one.
setup game.
Yeah,
No, it is. It is.
But I feel like people are going to see Detroit on the schedule and be like, "Oh, start the Commanders."
start
defense.
salivating.
But
yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. I feel like it's going to be a lot of yards put up for both teams.
Yeah.
The Commanders, I think we gave up over 400 yards
Yeah.
last week
Mhm.
to Jacksonville. So I
Jacksonville.
feel like Detroit's offense is better than Jacksonville with Amon
Mhm.
St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. I feel like they're going to do their thing, and feel like this is a setup game for anyone that thinks they can start the Commanders defense at Detroit.
And Detroit put up 30 against
33.
Philly. Yeah.
It's Philly.
And also,
They just
DJ
scored
Chark
most.
scored a touchdown too.
DJ Shark, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, I like
Oh, I forgot
I like
DJ Shark's
that
over
one.
there.
Yeah, DJ
So yeah,
Chark is
I
there.
mean,
And
Detroit's
TJ
offense is
Hockenson is
solid,
there.
man.
Jamal Williams is there.
Yeah,
They're not.
there's no slouch.
Dan Campbell gonna have them boys ready to play.
I feel like that's the setup game for the.
That's definitely a setup
Commanders
game for the
defense.
Commanders for sure.
And that wraps up the sit-ems for this week.
Yeah. Yeah. So that wraps up the show. You know what I mean? If you're still here, definitely subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you think about the start and sit-ems. Let us know if you have any questions about who to start, sit. We're gonna have our live Q&A show on Sunday. Make sure to follow our socials. So you know the exact time that we're doing that. I think we usually do that around 11. But if anything changes like that, you'll find out if you're following us. So Instagram, it's the Fantasy with SJT. Twitter and TikTok, it's the Fantasy SJT. Make sure you follow us there. Make sure you like and subscribe here. Check out the podcast on any podcast platform. This will be in podcast form tomorrow morning. That's Thursday. Yeah. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, good luck on your fantasy contest this weekend. And we'll see you same time next week or on Sunday for the live Q&A. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Everybody enjoy their night. Y'all got anything to say, fellas? No.
Nah, man, just let us know how we did. For
Facts.
sure.
Yeah,
Definitely
man.
give us that feedback. We need that feedback to get better.
Facts.
Tune in.
We're only
tune
gonna get
in.
better if y'all let us know.
We got the good stardom systems for y'all. Stop bullshit.
Right.
Everybody want to go to ESPN.com. We got y'all right here.
Facts.
Tune
Yeah,
in out.
Exactly.
we got to put y'all hit rate up against like everybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like y'all's hit rate was very
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
That was
exactly.
definitely over like 60%.
Yeah.
real, which is, if you're a gambler, 60%
For
is-
sure. Yeah.
It's
I'm taking
lit.
the 60.
Exactly. I'm telling anybody that got a 60%
Right.
lifetime record.
Nah, we
You
should
know what I'm
do that.
saying?
We're gonna do that going forward.
Yeah, so we already got it for this week. Y'all saw
Do some
the
dick
graphic for the beginning of this episode. But
man.
yeah,
But tune in, man. We here
yeah, for
each
sure.
and every Wednesday.
All right.
Now y'all know me. I come in. I'm confident. Thank you.